Hello, and welcome back to a new review for Overlord, episode 9, season 3. Boy, what a great episode! Seriously, this episode was so freaking good. So, we have in this episode the Emperor and a few of his underlings visiting the great tomb of Nazarick. And while the Emperor was curious who is this Einsulgon, and while they were riding the horse-drawn carts or the wagons, he was talking, he was relaxing, he was napping, and then he said that, well, it's a busy time for him, so many reforms for the Empire, and yeah, if he would stop doing this, the next Emperor would hate him. Which made Fluder ask him if he decided he should take as his wife. Well, mainly two persons were mentioned. First of all, Princess Renna, and fuck you, Emperor, don't bully Renna, she is freaking awesome. He was going on about how, well, her behavior is really nice, but he can't help but feel that she is messed up, she is making mistakes on purpose. I mean, it's true, we all know this, but don't say that about Renna, she is awesome. And the second one was the Queen of the Dragon Kingdom, something. And he was openly stating that, well, she is an old hag who is staying young thanks to her magic. Which is kind of funny because he also said that these two women are the types he hates the most. The cunning Princess Renner and the old hag who tries to be young, be forever young, which is pretty darn funny if you ask me, because as usual this episode had some really funny moments, even though it was a more serious tone, a more focused on the expansion of the world building, the kingdoms and so forth, especially the political aspect of it. So, the Emperor, he arrives at the tomb of Nazarick, and there are a bunch of Death Knights, as carrying tables, refreshments. They're sitting down, Fluder is going crazy about this awesomeness, and when Yuri Alpha shows up and takes them to the throne room of Nazarick, well, for the first time they really feel afraid, I would say. Especially the Emperor, who realized Ainz has treasures, he has gold, he has beautiful women, he has powerful magic and whatnot, and basically, yeah, the Emperor has nothing to offer to Ainz, because Ainz has basically everything in the eyes of the Emperor, which is pretty funny. And there they have the talk about apologizing about the invasion and offering the head of the noble who is the cause of the invasion. And when Ainz talks about, well, now he knows that trouble will show up even if he tries to stay hidden. The only chance for him is now, well, go out and crush all of the trouble that may show up. And this really scared the shit out of the Emperor, who then offers the idea of an alliance, which Ainz accepts to everyone's surprise. And the thing is, when the Emperor asks him, well, what do you want? What can I do for you now? And Ainz was like, yeah, right now I don't really have an idea, but I would like to have a way to contact you real quick. And then the Emperor offers his aid, so that the aid is in place there for the Emperor, so things can go smooth. To which Ainz answers, well, very well, I shall leave it all to Demiurgus, because he knows that guy knows. Yeah, but this was really the realization for the Emperor, who truly saw that, well, Ainz was not just one step ahead, but multiple steps ahead, and it was all according to plan for Ainz. Because Demiurgus showed off his skill to control the humans with his voice. When the Emperor talked to Ainz as an equal, and Demiurgus was basically like, yeah, kneel down. And having Demiurgus join the Emperor so that the alliance can work well, yeah. This is crazy, because the Emperor is scared because Demiurgus can control the people with his voice, and this is a step that is basically road blocking the idea of the Empire, which is pretty darn good. I mean, the entire episode, the title of this episode was A War of Words, and it was a really fitting title. And then there was a bit more of a discussion, especially when the Emperor and his underlings started to go back. And when he was in his wagon, he was thinking over it again, and he realized that, well, this is not about a war about borders, but yeah, Ainz is not someone we can beat. So the Emperor now really wants to get into a great alliance with all the different kingdoms so that they can take on Ainz. And another thing is that he realized he was betrayed by Fluder, because Fluder was going crazy about the magic, and when they left, well, Fluder was quietly getting onto the wagon and go home, and he was like, yeah, he didn't go crazy about how he wants to stay there because of the magic stuff. And then he thought over it, basically like, yeah, Fluder was basically the one who told me about the ruins, so he knew. And then the topic went to, how bad would it be if we put Fluder into a shitty position and then kill him slowly off? To which his aide answered, yeah, this would be really bad, because just having Fluder on our side keeps the others away. So without Fluder, because he is apparently a really powerful sorcerer in this world for the humans, the non-Azaric members, yeah, the other kingdoms, countries could start to make a move on the Empire, which is pretty darn interesting. And then we saw how Fluder got to know Ainz. And this scene was incredible. Ainz visited him as Momon with the Nabe, and he then put his ring off, showed off his magic, and Fluder was just bowing down, kneeling on all fours on the floor, and asked him to be taken as a student. And then Ainz asked him the most badass question: "What will you offer me?" Which Fluter answered simply, and to be honest, he is, with this episode, one of the most interesting and entertaining and best characters out of the non-Nazaric ones. So he is pretty close to Princess Renner, who is still one of my favorite characters in general, but especially the favorite character of the non-Nazaric people, and Fluter is now behind her, which is pretty darn interesting because I didn't think I would enjoy Fluter so much just on what he did in this episode. Yeah, and Fluter's answer to this awesome question was simply everything. He is offering everything, so yeah, it is awesome. And then we had also a bit of comedy with Ain's basically being told by Demiurgus what Ain's real intention was, because Ain's had no idea about what, and Demiurgus is just a genius strategic guy. But yeah, it's the usual funny thing, so nothing too crazy about it. And now, having the idea of coming out as, or declaring the region as his kingdom, which was basically the idea of the emperor, so that Ainz should go out and declare himself as a king. And there he asked his floor guardians for suggestions, which all of them were terrible except Corcutus ones, who basically pitched the idea of Sorcerer King, the one who rules through magic. And yeah, Ainz took a liking to it, and he will become the Sorcerer King Ainzul Gone. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I hope I will see you guys next time as well. Bye bye!